welcome to South Asian Overground. I forgot the name of my own podcast then. Not episode 2, season 2. Wow, I'm a bit flustered today, clearly. And I have the wonderful artist, Saint Raavan. Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad that we finally got to do this because it's been a long road
Yeah, finally.
to getting you on here. So, the question I always ask people on the podcast to start with is, where are you from?
I'm from Sri Lanka.
Is that always the fundamental answer you give when people say where
Yeah, it's a bit political, a little bit, but I have roots in Colombo and Jaffna, so for me it's like I'm in between both. But yeah, I don't really, I see myself as either Tamil, which is what the northern people they think them as. But yeah, that's geographically Sri Lanka.
Yeah. I actually had I think we spoke about this actually on the phone when we initially chatted, and I was saying that I had a great photographer on the podcast season 1 called M.IA, and she's Tamil as well, and she played some really, really sick Tamil music that is on one of my Spotify playlists. So there's some really great Tamil artists out 100%. There. Yourself being one of them.
Thank you so much.
So do you get asked that question a lot?
Where I'm from?
Yeah,
because no one can really guess where I'm from. Everyone thinks I'm Indian or Pakistani.
See, this is the thing, isn't it? It's that thing of hey, if you're brown and if you're saying you're South Asian, you must either be Indian or Pakistani, not nowhere else. Surely nowhere else.
That's it. Yeah.
People don't think about Bangladesh. People don't think about Sri Lanka. It's very much a thing, and because also Madhusha was saying, she was like, people always just assume I'm Indian. They don't think about Tamil people, and she's like, it's really annoying.
Yeah. I think it's a lack of representation as well. I think everyone's exposed to Indians and Pakistani artists all around the world, but in my opinion, there was only one when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're coming.
Yeah, we are. You are.
That's what I can say.
And were you born in Sri Lanka? Because I'm 3rd generation, so my dad is full Indian, but he was born in Manchester, and I'm half Indian, wicked. And I was born in Manchester. So yeah, but some of my dad's siblings were born in Pakistan, even though we're Indian. It's completely confusing.
I know.
So what about you?
So my parents fled because of the war. There was a war for 30 odd years, and they fled to Germany. So I was originally born in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. Lived there for about 6 years, and then I moved here eventually.
Can you speak German?
Not really, no.
The only thing I can say is U-Bahn.
Is that stop? No,
it's the tube in German.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So you're Sri Lankan. You were born in Germany, and now
I'm a British boy.
You're a British boy.
Yeah.
And how connected to your South Asianness do you feel?
A lot.
Yeah.
I think for me, from a young age, because I spoke the language, I was very, very much into the culture, music, films, everything. So for me, it was such a big part of my culture, where I think a lot of people, they might have felt embarrassed to, I had a lot of friends who never went to the movies, but then now they're there first day, first show, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's a massive, massive part of my.
Why do you think that is the case? Is it your parents? Is it your friends? What's the reason?
Parents, definitely they had a big part of teaching me the language. I can't write, but I can speak very well. But yeah, I just had massive love towards the music, towards the film. So yeah, it's just something I always kept with me.
What's your favourite film?
Tamil film.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. There's a director called Mani Ratnam who's legendary, and I think he made a film called Irvar, about these two political people, and yeah, one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, so it's a little bit of a political film then.
Yeah, he was based on.
Because I'd say one thing about, for example, Bollywood movies, it's always a love story.
Yeah.
It always has Shah Rukh Khan in it.
Yeah.
Or A.M.I.A. Bachchan.
Yeah.
It's always a love story.
Yeah, they're bad boys.
Yeah, they are.
I love it.
What? I went to India with my dad in November last year to kind of go back to Uttar Pradesh, where he's from initially, and we also spent some time in Rajasthan. But we started in Mumbai, and obviously A.M.I.A. Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan live there. I went outside both their houses.
Mad, isn't it?
it was mad, but I was also like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But people just stand outside their
and
houses.
they just wait for him to come
and they
wave.
come out on like a Friday, wave, and then like just pop back inside again.
It's mad. It's crazy. Like the fandom there is it's just mad. Like,
why do you think like I'm slightly going off tangent here, but let's just keep going. But why do you think that Bollywood movies are like basically the only movies people really associate with South Asian cinema?
I just think that the exposure again, you know, because I think, for example, Mani Ratnam, he's someone who makes very arty films.
Yeah.
So the arty world people, they would know about his films because, you know, he touches on political stuff, love, all of that stuff. Whereas Bollywood is so grand and everything like that. So I think people are more used to seeing that than kind of South Asian. But at the same time, South Asian cinema is like blooming right now. So
yeah. After this, you're gonna have to give me like a list of Tamil films.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I want to educate myself in them.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got to say though about some South Asian films, which are like
crazy. I know.
They're like like murder films.
Yeah.
Like murder films.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I watched one on the plane once. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was because sometimes like the acting is just like in some Bollywood stuff, it's just like atrocious.
Yeah.
It's all so dramatic. It's like, you know, one stare is like completely blown up. And the other thing I would say though is like Hinduism seems to be like, well, for Bollywood movies, the most well-known ones, seems to be the kind of like main religion that's portrayed. Whereas I think it's Shah Rukh Khan is Muslim.
Yeah.
But he's always playing a Hindu.
Yeah.
Like again, do you think that's just because it's, I don't know, like the most popular, or I don't know.
I think like India's like is very sensitive, some of the stuff they can say and do.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, like the film industry that's like breaking all boundaries is actually in Kerala. So that's known as Malayalam.
Oh, I'm dying to go there.
Yeah, me too. But their films, like they don't care about religion, what political statement they're saying. Like they just make good films. Whereas I think in Bollywood and even Tamil cinema to an extent, it's like they've got a market to cater to. So yeah, I think it's like a fine line as to what they can do and what they can't. And you know, there's like some of the people they're like breaking banners and stuff right now for Shah Rukh Khan's latest film. So yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yeah, it is. But I love it. Like, you know, this is something with this podcast, I kind of like felt quite detached from my South Asianness, like, which is not something that like I'm really envious of you in that sense because you're so immersed in it. But then I was like, when I was watching like South Asian cinema, and also me and my auntie watched this program called Super Dancer. Don't know if you've ever seen it. You should watch it.
Okay.
It's basically like these young South Asian kids. They go on this competition and they get like a little mentor. Each of them get a mentor, and they just like dance like you've never seen. So many of them are double jointed. They're doing all this crazy stuff. They're like flipping upside down, and it's mad. Like one of them's like on a tightrope or something, and there's no net underneath. I'm like, this is bonkers. But it always makes me feel just like so connected to my when I watch that, and I feel like, oh, like yes, like inside of me, you know, that it's like a big thing.
100%.
So for you, what are some of those things that make you feel like, I don't know, like really connected to your culture, like really excited about it?
It's the movies. Like I'm a massive like film head when it comes to Tamil films. Like one of my favorite actors, his film's coming out next week. I'll be there first day, first show. Like
nice.
Yeah, I do that. But yeah, like I think the music is a big part of my like connection to the culture. And the movies like.
Where do you go and watch like South Asian?
Cineworld.
Cineworld does it?
Yeah, they're even Odeon are playing Tamil films now.
Really?
Yeah, it's blooming, man.
Okay, because I've not literally seen a South Asian movie in the cinema since I was little, like on Eid or something.
Yeah.
We used to do that.
Yeah.
Before we move into the music side of things, this is a question that I always ask everyone. It's a bit of a like. I'm not saying that you want to have kids because I don't know. You might even have kids, I don't know.
No,
but I'm saying if you decided to have kids, what are the main elements of your culture / heritage that you would want to pass on to them?
If I have kids, this is just putting it out there.
if.
Like for me, I'm a born Christian, like a Catholic, so I could be completely incorrect, but I didn't really have exposure to like Indian arts and stuff like that. Like, you know, like there's so many instruments and stuff which I feel Hindu kids go and do like in the Tamil schools. So I never had that. So I think like if I did have a kid, to push them in like that kind of artsy stuff.
Definitely. And you know what, like, it's actually really refreshing because notoriously, and I know that's actually not the case so much anymore, but a lot of brown parents are very much like against that, you know. They want to be like, no, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a lawyer, like, do you know what I mean? Always that. Whereas I'm very much on board with you on that one. Like, I'm a creative myself, so I would want to push my kids in that direction as well. Do your parents support your creative journey, or was it a bit of a battle?
It was a massive battle in the beginning. I think like at 16 I was like, I want to be a creative. Like I didn't know if that was going to be acting or music or whatever, but I was like, I'm going to do it. But yeah, I had like loads of threats from uncles, aunties, and all sorts. But yeah, I think like as they saw my progression, like kind of, you know, meeting people and being on board with certain people, they were like, okay, cool. But even now, like as, you know, refugee parents, I understand like they want me to be stable and stuff like that. So for that, you know, you can't really
100%. And I mean, any parent wants their kids to be stable, but I do notice like within our like wider culture, like wherever you're from or whatever your religion is or whatever, that is definitely a theme of like what really the importance of like having that stability, because you know, my dad's mum and dad, they drove over at some point from Pakistan here, not with the intention of ever staying, but they were kind of like trying to build something. They had nothing. My dad was selling loo roll on the market, like initially. So I think, you know, they never want us to be in that position, understandably. And I guess they can't comprehend that as a creative you could ever be in a stable position. Yes, it's true. It's so up and down for us all the time. But like, so I get it, like you get it, but still it can be frustrating at times.
Of course, yeah.
And I do think it's a thing of like seeing to believe. Like once they can see that you're doing it, they're like, well, all right then.
Yeah. Even now they're still onto me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess one day they'll just be like, okay, cool.
Because you're at uni as well, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. What are you doing at uni?
Oh Lord, computer science.
I love that you say your Lord. I quite like it. It's good. But that's the most, sorry to say, I hope this is not offensive, but that's like so stereotype, is it? Like,
most brown thing anyone could do. Yeah.
Most brown thing. Yeah. Like I want to be an artist. Like I'm actually being an artist. I'm working with people like M.IA, right? And then, which we'll get to. Yeah. But then I'm doing computer science because they want me to. Was that like your family wanting you to do it?
No, because I'm 24, so I went to uni initially when I was 18. That was straight after M.I.'s tour actually, so like obviously we'll get to that, but yeah, I kind of left because I couldn't hack it, like uni wasn't for me. But this was like my decision, because I was just like, you know what, the world is literally burning, so I was just like, let me just at least have that, you know. I think a degree is, you know, I know a lot of people say like, oh, you don't need a degree to live in this world, but I feel like
sometimes it's good. I mean,
it's good.
I regret going to uni. I did English language. I mean, who the fuck does English
language?
No,
that's lit. That's what lit.
It's not. And I do regret it. But then at the same time, I'm just like, well, at least I got a degree. You know?
Exactly.
If I need it for something. Worst comes to worst, I'll be an English teacher. I can't spell though. I'm rubbish with grammar. So it was basically wasted. Also, the uncles and aunties thing. For people listening that don't get it, like, how much does your uncles and aunties like have input in your life? Because actually what you said about when I was like, oh, your parents comfortable with what you're doing, you were like, oh, the uncles and aunties had comments to say.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, that in our culture they have such an influence?
It's difficult because I've got like uncles who raised me basically, you know, like from a kid, and I just feel like it's just protectiveness, you know what I mean? Because like I've got like cousins who are now 15, 16, and I've got that in me now, like I'm like mad protective. So I think it's a bit of that, and obviously, you know, they obviously don't want you to be, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't want you to be fucking around, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's that basically.
Because there's always that thing as well. I don't have that so much within my family because we're like quite westernized. My mum's also like from Liverpool essentially, so like it's fine.
Yeah.
But like that thing of like, oh well, what will the community say? What will the aunties and uncles say? And everyone's your auntie and uncle.
No.
They'll get me by the cheek and be like, oh big dad, I've not seen you for so long, and you're like cheeks like breaking. Like, I don't know who you are. You know, so it is definitely a thing, and I think people don't really get it that aren't from within our
Yeah,
culture.
I mean, like for me, because like I've always been the rebellious type, so
Yeah.
I've never listened to any like uncles and aunties. They can say what they want, like I've never listened to them. But yeah, sometimes the society thinks they know best for you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes you just gotta do what you want to do. You know,
100%. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here today if that wasn't the case.
exactly that.
So music then. I want to ask, why and where did the name Saint Raavan come from?
So people close to me, like they know I've got like 100 different names, like I'm known by.
Okay.
So like even like last year, Color Studio, like they posted my music and it was under my previous name, so it's just like so annoying because so much things went that way. But Saint Raavan, like it was just I kept evolving with my vision. And then eventually because like Saint is like obviously my Christian background.
Yeah.
Ravanan is yeah, like I growing up I kind of I'm very spiritual, I'm not religious.
Yeah.
So Hinduism is like something I looked into, and yeah, it just made sense. Like for me, my music I hope represents yin and yang, so it's kind of like the dark and the light. So yeah, I think it just epitomizes all of that.
I really, really feel you on that kind of Hinduism side of things, because I'm Muslim, but I'm not practicing. And I find that there's aspects of Hinduism that I find really helpful. And the spirituality side of things, I learned a lot about it when I went to India as well. And what I quite like is that whatever, say you're going through something, there's a God for it. And even though I'm not like going into that because I'm not Hindu, I am Muslim, but it's kind of the idea of like, you know, even having like certain items, like certain crystals or certain things like that make me feel like, okay, I need this thing right now because I'm going through this thing.
Yeah.
I'm wearing malachite at the moment.
Jeez.
And I also got some tiger's eye on my wrist.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
But
we're protected.
I get you on that one.
Yeah.
So we always have our guests bring in 2 tunes, and I want to start. Which one do I want to? No. Let's start with this one. So one of the first tunes you sent me was "Beep" by M.I.A from her album Matter. And now this is why / how I came across you, because I saw that you worked with her on the album, and obviously you've said you've gone on tour with her as well. So before we play the track, can you tell me a little bit about that relationship, how it came about, and also like your involvement in creating the music with her?
Yeah, no, I've been a massive M.I.A fan from from day one. She, like, for me, like I said, she was the only person, like, you know, like, for example, a black person could say, I looked up to Giggs, I looked up to Skepta, you know, but for me, she was the only person there. And I connected so much to kind of, you know, the rebelliousness, the music, the art, everything. So yeah, like when I was 17, just turning 18, I just pulled up to King's College, like it was like a talk or something. And at Brago, I just went and spoke to her. And I was like, all I asked her was like, you know, how do I come into the music industry, blah, blah, blah. And then somehow she's found me after the talk. Like she must have, like she said, like she was asking people who am I and stuff like that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so that was like crazy because the same night she got in touch. And then, yeah, from then, like she almost became like a mentor for me.
Yeah.
Herself and her brother like had a big kind of impact on my music and my journey, and then yeah, like I just was part of the team for a good 4 years.
What was the talk about that you went to? Was she doing the talk?
It was like a panel talk. I went really late. Like I was just like I'm just gonna pull up. I just want to meet her. So yeah, that was like 5-6 years ago now. It's crazy. Yeah.
So on the album Matter then, and specifically the track Beat, like what do you? What's your role within creating a tune?
So like at the time we didn't know it was going to be Matter. Like I was just working. So there was a producer called Rex Kudo, who'd worked with like Post Malone's early stuff, and he came in to do one song which was with Belly, so one of The Weeknd's artists, I think. And then yeah, like he just like I was just there like working on background vocals, so they really liked my Tamil style of vocals.
That's bloody lovely.
Yeah, and then after that, like 3 months went by. I was working with AJ Tracy, like I was working on M.I.A's album as well, and then Beep happened like And one night it was just me and the guitarist, and you know that you can be who you.
Yeah.
So that came to my head, and then from then the track just went nuts. Like
The album is mad.
Yeah.
Like, and I also love Zoo Girl.
Yeah, mad.
I recently recorded like a little demo for a new radio show with my mate Angus, and like we were doing kind of like back-to-back tracks kind of thing, and Zoo Girl was one of mine. She's just like so empowering, especially she's a female.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like, I really don't know if I should say this or if this is the right, I don't know, I'm just gonna say it, but she kind of makes me feel like the brown female version of The Streets. I don't know because he's just, Mike Skinner has just got this attitude,
Yeah.
and he like speaks as well, and he doesn't give a shit, and he's saying the truth, even though sometimes with Mike Skinner you're like, are you talking shit? And actually listening, you're like, no, you're not.
You're making sense.
But with M.IA, it's a similar
a
similar energy. And on tour with her, were you performing with her? What was?
No, so they took me as a wardrobe like assistant. I think that's what they took me as. But yeah, no, I was just there to help out, like, you know, everyone, like the managers and stuff like that. And then at the same time to see kind of the tours, how she deals with tours, and kind of, you know, like so much I learned, like just seeing her being who she is and like performing and stuff. Yeah, it was nuts.
So it's like been a very, very like fundamental experience for you, like in your career, in terms of how you'll conduct yourself on tours.
100%. Yeah.
Where was the tour?
It was in Europe, and then I went on the America leg to I forgot. It was 2 places, but
That's so sick.
New York as well. Sorry, yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
I would love to see her live.
Yeah,
like,
it's because like I've seen her like she performed at Meltdown. She curated Meltdown in my memory's going crazy. So Southwark. What's that place called?
Southwark.
Royal Albert. No.
Oh, Royal Albert Hall. No.
South Bank, the centre. What's it called?
Oh, South Bank. I think it's called South Bank Centre.
Yeah. My bad.
Funnily enough.
Yeah. So like that was one of the first times I actually saw her, like, because I'm normally on the side of the stage. So at that time I was just seeing her on stage, and yeah, it's as a fan, it's mad.
Mad. And that's such a like amazing, like, okay, I don't know, I'm going to use this word, manifestation. Do you know what I mean? It's just someone you've looked up to, and then you work with her. Manifestations is like, obviously as I became more into spirituality and stuff, it made sense. Yeah.
But I remember being like 12, and I'm like telling my dad like I'm going to work with her one day, and like that's what happened. Yeah.
Well, I also love the story about Nick Grimshaw. I mean, completely, he's not South Asian, obviously.
Yeah.
But when he was like, I think a similar age, like came to London with his dad, because he's from Oldham in up north, proper up north, and he was like, Dad, I'm gonna work here at BBC Radio 1, and then he was like, shit, that happened. So there's a big power in manifestation. All right, so do you want to introduce the first track then?
Beep
by M.IA.
By M.IA, the GOAT.
So I want to get into kind of like the behind the scenes side of things with your music, because I want to talk about your sound as well in a bit, but that's going to be more when we play your tune. Do you manage yourself? Do you release all your own stuff? Because I think in the music world, people just assume everyone's got a manager, everyone's got a producer, a sound technician. They don't realize that a lot of people just do it themselves. Yeah.
I am essentially self-managed at the moment. I do have a very strong like mental team. And so they're like to kind of help me out and kind of seed my music, you know, to people in the industry, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, currently I am releasing independently.
How do you find that? Is it more difficult? Do you want to have like a music label, or?
I would love to. I think I've been in the industry for so long.
Yeah.
And so I think I kind of, you know, I'm used to the promises and like, you know, the things that happen in the music industry. But I think seeing so many labels now being created in the Tamil industry and to see the numbers they're reaching, and for me, like, visuals is a big part of my like my music.
Yeah.
So to see them doing what I want to do, like, it's crazy that like someone literally did a music video idea that I had, and I told my mentor like maybe 6 months ago, and then I was like, yo, look, like they've done it. Yeah, so like I think it's inspiring, but yeah, we wanna be there as well, really.
Yeah,
so,
100%. If you were to sign to a label, would you want it to be a Tamil label?
Not really, no. I see my sound to be like, I would love to work with Tamil labels for sure. But I think I wanna sign for a major. Yeah, one day.
And in terms of then your sound, like how are you? Because obviously, it is a saturated market, but it's not so saturated in terms of South Asians.
Yeah.
And especially in terms of Tamil artists.
Mm-hmm.
But how are you like carving your sound to stand out? Because also what I love about your sound is, and I don't know the technical terms, but it sounds like a fusion of things.
Yes.
That's how I would describe it.
The beloved word fusion. Yeah.
Fusion.
Yeah. The thing is, like, from 16 to about 18 until I met M.IA, like, I was making Tamil music. So Tamil independent music has been a thing for so long, and there's so many great like pioneers of that sound, because it's proper DIY and just it's mad dope. But I think after that I was making English music.
Yeah.
So then like we had releases, but like I just wasn't seeing a connect with people. Like I just think. For me, like one of my favorite South Asian artists, Joy Crooks, like so sick. But even her, like she's signed to a major, and like for me as an artist, like everything's all in one, like in terms of visuals, tour, music.
Yeah.
So they've got it on point. Even Priya Raghu, she's mad, like what she's doing. But yeah, like I think. Now, literally July, I made a decision. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make Tamil music again.
Yeah.
And I think for me, with my business hat on, I was just like, okay, cool. Like, there's a market there, and I'm in my own lane. Like, no one can really touch what I'm doing.
Definitely. And there's something about it. Like you listen to your music, and it's just like it sticks with you because it's different. Actually. Funnily enough, this maybe it's a bit weird. It's not weird. I'm writing a play at the moment, and it's based on like South Asians in their 20s. And when I started writing it, I was like, right, I need to put some tunes on, and I was like, you were on in the background when I was writing. So
that's sick.
In some way, you've influenced my writing.
Nah, that's amazing, man.
Now this is slightly random, but Spotify 2022 Wrapped.
Yeah.
I saw on your Instagram, I can't remember the exact figures, sorry, but it was pretty good for you, wasn't it?
I was pissed off because they
maybe not.
They didn't add my the latest single Ennodu. They didn't add the stats for that, so my stats should have been like she was like 25 at the time when Wrapped came out. But yeah, like it was still amazing to see like the countries touching and stuff. Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Because do you think it's like on the one hand it's good because obviously like it shows you like kind of what you've achieved and everything, like people are enjoying your music. But do you think it's also kind of like pressurizing in that idea of like achievement, and then like you compare yourself to other artists and that kind of thing?
These days someone could put a post up and say they've got like 50k streams, right, and it could be bought. So like I'd say this to anyone. Like, it's not like I'm more touched by the people that message me and say, yo, like, your music is. I get messages from so many nice people, like saying, your music is touching me, like it's inspiring. So, streams and stuff is nice. Like for me, it's humbling and stuff like that. But I don't think it's something to be like, oh, like I want to be getting that. And
well, that's good because you're keeping your head on your shoulders. Yeah. And it probably helps having like a good mentor team around you
100%,
to do that.
Shout out Ranch.
So your personal Spotify 2022 Wrap, what was your main like artist most played song?
It was M.IA, who I'll talk about. But yeah, like he took up most of it, and then I've got another Spotify account which is like The Weeknd, Frank Ocean, Olivia Dean. I love
Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
But mine was also The Weeknd, and I was annoyed because I was just like, I feel like I've not listened to it that much. Yeah. He's great, but I was a bit like, But my top one was Rudimental, and I played it 126 times. Yeah. And my friend said that was a bit much.
I had one like one of M.IA songs I played 256 times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they only came out like in July or something.
That was the same with me. I think I listened to the Rudimental song. I heard it in May.
Yeah, and then mad.
It was
But sometimes like you get used to songs and then you just listen to it every morning.
Obsessively.
And then that's it.
But then the problem with that is then you get sick of it. And maybe you don't.
I'm very bad at like keeping in touch with new music.
Yeah.
Like The Weeknd's new album, I've not heard it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a couple of songs, but yeah, I kind of, I'm the type to just listen to the same song again and
Over
again.
and over again,
It's
yeah.
just bad.
I'm in a bit of a Fred again phase at the moment, and
Yeah,
it's just I'm obsessive.
he's so sick.
Yeah, well, I was actually talking about this before you got here, about he's doing this thing at the moment where he's just him and Kieran, who's Fortet, and Skrillex. Last night, I mean, whenever people listen to this, it won't be relevant in that way, but last night he did like a surprise gig. He's
Mad.
doing it again today, like just like, yeah, I'm doing this gig now.
Yeah.
Like, we're looking for a venue. Cool, we've got one. Here's the ticket link.
Yeah.
You bloody nutter.
Yeah.
But I do love
He's at that stage where he's just like he's a genius, you know what I mean? And
He is a genius.
He's gonna attract that the audience, you know what I mean? So yeah,
What
very
was
cool.
the first song you ever wrote, and how do you feel about it now?
Like I don't really remember like it would have been a Tamil song,
Yeah.
and I don't really remember, to be honest. The first song that I feel made me feel like an artist was a song called M.I.A, which I will be re-releasing this year. But yeah, that song was that every time I listen to it, it's just it's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get on another one of your tunes now, which is your actual personal tune that came out in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the vocals on it are just like incredible. It's just like, ooh, I don't know, I'm not using good terminology, but please, can you introduce it? I'm also not saying the names, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Can you introduce it, and can you tell us a little bit about it as well? Because I guess a lot of people will be able to connect to it on one level, but then maybe don't know the meaning behind it.
Yeah, it's called Ennodu, the song. It's a full Tamil single. But yeah, the meaning, so the first two releases of mine, Vanilla and Cultural, that was written by me, produced by me, and I just, it was a kind of bid to see kind of what's gonna happen, because like I said, I don't know what the current climate of Tamil music is like, but Vanilla received some good like feedback. Cultural went up again, and then when Ennodu came out, that was like algorithms and shit was just going mad, like all of a sudden. So yeah, like that was a song that for me, I was like, it's everything I want to make in music, like the fusion and everything like that. And then it's just it's a love song, I feel, and like, you know, us Tamils, we love stuff, so I thought it's relatable to everyone, really.
Okay, fantastic.
And ordered by Saint Raavan.
And then we'll play the beautiful song. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure our listeners will have absolutely loved it, and hopefully open their eyes, if they've not heard your music yet.
Thank you.
God forbid, to listen to more of it. Music video wise and visuals, you said that's quite important to you. Again, is that kind of, you do that in house? Like you control everything, you're like...
Yeah, I'm quite control freaky, so like Maze and Blurry Iris is called, so they're out right now, but just as videos. And so we basically shot like a short film, because drama is a big part of my life, like it's something I did all through school. And
me too, love it.
Yes. So yeah, I think like for me, I just wanted to make sure like we not in 5 years am I making my first ever short film music video, like let's just do it from the get-go. But yeah, for that you need the big budgets, you know what I mean, so yeah, I'm just waiting.
Well, Riz Ahmed did the short film of his song. Oh my god, what was the song? I can't remember the name. I can't remember it, but he did, like, it was a short film but it was a song, and I really love that, like the idea of like you're doing a music video but it's also a short film. Makes it feel a bit more like serious, you know.
Because I just like Maze is a straight up love song, and I was like, you know, it's so easy for me to just get a girl and have these scenes and blah blah blah, but I wanted to make something like a bit more deeper, like. And
you write from personal experience then?
I can only do that.
So you're a big lover.
I'm an Aries, that's all I was saying.
I'm a Leo.
Oh, so crazy.
The five signs are, and you're also the first sign of the zodiac, so you just go for it. That's it.
All in or nothing.
All
that's
in.
It.
For people that are new to the music industry, trying to get their sound heard, what advice would you give about just getting yourself out there? Because you were saying that the algorithm has been going mad for you recently. How's that possible? Like, how do you make that happen?
I actually had a message yesterday. Someone asked me, like, can you give me your vocal chain, like, which is basically like your plugins and stuff like that. And I was like, it's not, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, I've been in the industry for 5 years, and like from July till now have I seen a massive kind of boost. So it just shows you that, it can take a while. But yeah, I think like there is a little bit of playing with the trends. Like, I'd done some cover songs to attract people.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of that. But yeah, just be yourself, and eventually I think you'll be heard. Yeah.
I like that. So in terms of South Asianness and the music industry, I'm gonna ask you this question.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a weird one, but how representative of South Asian males, I guess, in the music industry do you feel with your sound and what you're trying to do?
I don't think I've got that platform yet to be representing like that, to be honest, but hopefully I can represent the creative minded, the kind of South Asian people out there, and the people who wanna kind of step into the scene.
Yeah.
I think like, there are stereotypes to R&B Asian music and R&B rap. Hopefully I can, like, cuz for me growing up I listened to M.IA, Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, and like I don't know how many South Asian artists that are like that. Do you know what I mean? So
I think voice is such a big part of yours, your sound, like using your voice. And I think you're right. There's not a huge amount of that within the South Asian community. Why do you think now we're finally having our time? And I don't like to say it lightly, because it shouldn't be the case. Like, it should be the case that we've always been like South Asian music, South Asian creatives have always been heard, have always been seen. But I do feel like there's a massive surgence of it at the moment, especially like at festivals. You're seeing a lot of South Asian DJs, also Daytimers, The Collective, like they're doing loads of sick stuff. On the radio, you're hearing more South Asians. I still think in the acting world, that's not enough. That really there isn't. I was actually rewatching Skins recently.
Dave Patel.
First season, Anwar. I was like, this is really good. But that's been lost now, because he's like a Muslim guy. You see him in mosque, all this stuff. But I don't really see much more of that since then. So why do you think in the music world, South Asians are now having their time or coming into that?
I think like, from about 2015, like music's really been the same. Like we've just been hearing the same stuff again and again. I think it's a time where people are always, especially during lockdown, like so many people are like, I'm done with clubbing, I'm done with that type of music and blah blah blah. So I think it's where people are, get more looking into themselves. Like, we've got a sound that's so like, I'm not even like trained singing wise, but there's so many beautiful Carnatic singers out there that that type of music really touches your soul. And I think that like people want that now. Like, they don't want to be listening to, like, I won't say what genre, but
But you know what, that's so true, because I think people want to hear something that's different and that makes them go, oh my god, what was that? Because it's funny, like my mum says this, and quite a lot of my friends that aren't necessarily that much into dance music and stuff, they're like, oh, we just don't like that music with no words. They call it music with no words. And I used to be like, no, I love music with no words. But now I'm a bit like, actually, it doesn't, after a while it gets a bit drony in your head. It's like going to a Drake concert. All of the songs sound the same. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. So I think there's something in that. And again, going back to Fred again, that's why a lot of people recently who've been going to his gigs have been like crying their eyes out, because the sounds he's using, and it's again the same. It's the same with South Asian sound, and even movies. Everyone cries in a South Asian movie. It's guaranteed to be evoke that emotion.
Like, emotion is such a deep part of, like, there's a form of dance called Bharatanatyam from Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka, but it's just like they emote so much emotion. Sorry bro, my glasses are there. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Just swing them here. Sorry. Bloody hell, I'm so sorry. But would you call it, they emote so much emotion, and that's like it's rooted in everything, like the culture and the music. Yeah.
And we're passionate people.
Exactly.
Especially the fire sign South Asians amongst us. Very, very, very passionate people.
Yes.
So the final thing I want to ask you, which is like a bit of a weird question, but my friend basically said, "Oh, you should ask all your guests this." It's a confessional. So something that people wouldn't expect about you because you're South Asian. Because there's so many stereotypes around us a lot, right? And so they might not expect that, I don't know, that you, like tea, brick builder's tea. I mean, that's a shit example, but I'm just trying to give you one.
I'm gonna answer this question a bit differently.
Yeah, go on.
But this is a credit to my father, like for the way he kind of taught me and raised me. But I know a lot of South Asians out there that love caste, that love looking at people's religions, and discriminating, race, all of that. And I don't believe in a single, none of that. Like, I think a lot of even back home, and for me, it's crazy that people here have the same mindset.
Oh, they do.
Like I've recently heard someone, like one of my friends was seeing a girl, and after like a couple of dates she said, yeah, we can't see each other because we're not the same caste. And
caste? Not even religion?
Not even religion. Fuck religion, like caste. So yeah, that type of like belief system people have, like I will never back it, and like I will speak against it if I hear it.
And it's also like an underlying thing as well. For someone actually to say that, I'm quite shocked. But is underlying within the like communities of like, oh well, we're this level of class, and or if you're going out with this one, not so sure about that. So, I mean, poor buggers that have to go through this. It's like, okay, I have to be with someone of the same religion, but I also have to be with someone of the same caste, but they also have to be a lawyer. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's mad. It's so intense, and I feel really blessed, similarly to you, because my parents like don't put that kind of pressure on me, and I mean, my mum is a British white female from Liverpool, so they can't, and my dad's an Indian guy. They can't really say anything to me, to be honest. So yeah, well, thank you so much.
No, thank you so much
for coming on the podcast. I'm so glad that we finally got to do it, and I'm really happy to share your songs and your insight with the South Asian Overground audience.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.